Hey, another episode of Championship Mode Collective. Morning, it's like 10 past 6, and I just finished the workout. And today is an office/client day, so it's gonna be a hectic one. But yeah, mixing it up with going to the client, going to the office as well as how to be a thriving consultant. So today, that's what our content is gonna be like. So we're gonna be in the office, bump into a few people, so who's in the office, and just vibe like that. So that's where we're at today. I hope you've had a good start to the day. Hope you've had a good start to the morning. I hope you're taking care of your mental health as we move towards the end of the year. Yeah, let me go get ready and let's get to work. Yeah, running a bit late, so just have to do the multitasking. But yeah, since we were last here, our subscriber count has gone through the roof. Thank you, Lua Burner. We went from like 122 subscribers to like 700 subscribers at the time of shooting this. So yeah, that's really been beautiful, and firmly on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Trying to push it till the end of this year. But yeah, I'll just take it as it comes, not force anything. But if you're here for the first time, please hit the subscribe button. If you've been here before, give a like, comment, and thank you so much for subscribing. So, like I previously mentioned, today, literally office day, client day, and how to be a thriving consultant. So this pretty much follows on from the first 2 videos in the series where we talked about the dark side of consulting. Well, actually we started with what is consulting, right? Then we went into the dark side of consulting. Then we went into surviving consulting. But you don't want to just survive in your career or your day-to-day job, right? You want to thrive. So that's naturally the next step. So follow me through the day as we figure out what it looks like to be a PwC consultant, as well as how to be a thriving consultant. Let's go. Okay, arrived at the client site. I can't record for long, otherwise I might actually get fired. But I am with my manager, Danny. I'm walking over to him to say hi. He doesn't want a feature, but I'm forcing him.
No.
We're spending the whole day together. Actually, we're going back to the office. So yeah, about to start the day. Client day, office day. Let's go. Back in the office. I'm with my managers. These are my managers that are taking my time today. So I have to be well behaved. I have to be well behaved today. I can't run away from my responsibilities. Joking, never run away from my responsibilities. But yeah, back in the office, have a 1-hour workshop just to do some stuff, just to do some work, and then having lunch at 2 p.m. having a lunch catch up. So still going through the day. The content is gonna come through soon. Stay tuned. One of PwC's chill out spots. So my managers kept me 30 minutes longer. I'm only about to have lunch now with my mate Refilwe. She's in the yellow in the background, but she was busy putting together the recharge zone, which I think is absolutely super cool. So we're literally just gonna take a walk through, and I guess it's sort of like a focus on, your mental health, just to like recharge. War of winners, because there were people playing 30 seconds, there were people playing Jenga, there's foosball, there's a coffee station, and it's actually such a chilled out zone. There's some sweets, which I am going to grab a couple, if you don't mind me. And there's actually balloons. Recharge zone. Let me show you the balloons. super cool. Like, this is nice vibe. Super cool. Anyways, I'm hungry. Let me eat and then we will get into content. First, let's say hi to Refilwe. Let's say hi to Refilwe. Say hi.
Hi! What are we doing? I don't know what we're doing.
Name,
the lighting is so nice. Oh,
name,
hi.
team. What are you doing
She's
with?
the lead on Team Decent.
There we go. Yeah.
Cool.
Other cool things you do at PwC.
Okay, cool. I'm Refilwe. I sit in GRIA Internal Audit, and we created a special project under NextGen called the Recharge Zone. NextGen is stop talking at me. NextGen is a project dedicated at addressing the 17 SDG goals, and one of the goals we've created is under Team Decent Work, which is SDG goal number 8, and we created a space called the Recharge Zone.
Okay,
I'm
let's
done.
go for lunch, please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm fully done.
And her other cool team. Look at them.
People who did the work.
Oh, let me stay away from this one. I have been video crashed by this one. Oh, it's my script. Other way, flips. It goes this way.
I didn't follow your cheap stuff.
Really?
I think there's amazing content that I can add on to stuff.
Like what?
Like you have a topic, let's discuss it.
Oh, like a chat, like
Yeah, like a banter.
like a.
No, also leave a good photo. No, I'm gonna visit tomorrow. I'm gonna go for 18 minutes. I'm gonna come tomorrow, so like I'm stressed out.
That's good. The joys. Anyway, let's content. Step 1. Decide what type of consultant you want to be. Jack of all trades, technical, management consultant. You literally have to decide, right? What this does, it puts your career firmly on a path, and you have experience of people that have come before you, knowledge of people that have come before you, industry, whatnot, and you can be like, hey, this is the type of consultant I want to be, and so let me tap into that, right? Doing that just like solidifies your career and gives you a path to see, but it's also okay if you don't see a path, right? So, for example, I would like to be a management consultant, so sometimes I've figured it out, like, okay, cool, I want my career to go like this, and sometimes I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I had my team lead ask me, how do I see my career unfolding over the next 2 or 3 years? And I said, boss, I just want to do my work. Literally, you know, and he was like, understandable, but we actually got into the detail, right? And just understanding that I want to be a management consultant, it's like, okay, cool. This is what a management consultant does at the end of the day. What skills do we need to get there? Between technical, soft skills, what type of experience do you need to have? And then you work towards that. You see? Step number 2, practice a learning and growth mindset. What does this mean? Take risks, challenge yourself, do things out of your comfort zone, push the status quo. Literally, don't be okay with being told what to do. Set your own pace, set the pace of your career, direct what you want to learn, direct how you want your skills to form, right? And also this helps with like, the best way to do this is like through experimentation, you know, working with different teams in your business, opening yourself up to collaborating with different people, learning new skills, reading different publications, you know, all of these different things gives you like a new creative source to tap into, as well as just feeding your curiosity, feeding your creativity, allowing you to experiment on the career that you're building, right? And that is what practicing a learning and growth mindset is all about. It's all about pushing, challenging yourself, keep going to the next and the next and the next level. So let me make this practical for myself, right? So how I experiment, how I practice a learning and growth mindset is just putting myself in different training programs. at work and outside of work. So I'll start with outside of work. So I'm currently doing the McKinsey Forward program, so that talks about problem solving, communication. There's a case study, there's group work, so you're building a range of technical and soft skills, right? So what I learned there, I then bring into my work and my other passion projects, right? That's one way. Inside work, we have e-learns. So if you want to learn a topic like climate change, if you want to learn a topic like how to present with impact, you go find the e-learn. It's usually between 30 to 40 minutes, and you take the learnings and then you try to apply it, right? So those are two of the ways that you can experiment and sort of like keep yourself, keep your skills growing and not stagnate, for example. Step number 3, keep building your strengths and ask for support in your development areas. What this does is it keeps you grounded, keeps you growing your impact, as well as focusing and closing your development areas. And what this does in the long run is it makes you a well-rounded consultant where you're able to fit into any situation, solve a whole multitude of problems, and just become a better consultant, right? Additionally, one thing you can do to support that type of growth is ask your peers to support you on closing your development areas, right? So maybe you're not great at like gauging emotional intelligence in other people, go to a colleague, someone who's good at doing that, and say, listen, how do you do it? When you're sitting in the meeting, what do you look for? How are you able to just access that? If someone is good at building slides, sit with them and be like, I want to build this slide. Can you help me? How would you do it? What's your thought process? If someone is good at research, so whatever you are not great at, ask your colleague. And sometimes that's the best way of learning, right? Because you're like, oh, my colleague is teaching me something, and it's much easier to digest than if maybe your manager or your team lead was telling you the same thing, right? So for example, one of my development areas was business development, business acumen. So my manager, who's really good at that, I used to sort of like ask him a lot of stuff, especially when we had like potential work and when we were doing proposals. Now literally it got to a point where he would give me proposals that he needed to do, and I would literally like do it, frame the opportunity, and present it back to him, right? And you'd be like, okay, cool, I like this, I like that. You didn't think about this, bring this in, and right? And I was like, oh, that's really cool. So over time, I've now gained that skill of business development where I'm able to sort of like frame an opportunity and build a proposal with the help of my colleagues, right? But I'm able to apply myself in that way. And that's pretty cool. So that's one way of, building my strengths as well as asking my colleagues to support my development. Step number 4, learn to prioritize, as well as keep in mind what you can and can't control, right? So what do we mean by learn to prioritize? In a working environment, especially like a fast-paced, high performance, your attention is split between different needs, right? You're on chargeable client work, you're on business development, you're on proposals, you're on research, you're on multiple projects, and that can end up splitting your attention, right, to the point where you start to drop the balls that you're juggling, right? But with prioritizing, what you do, what you say is, hold on, hang on, what's important to me, what's important to the business, what's important to my team, right? And in that way, you kind of align to all three, right? Your career, your team goals, and the business objectives at the end of the day. And that's the power of prioritizing. You are able to maintain high performance and deliver high impact on the things and the few areas that matter, right? And once you start honing this, let me learn to prioritize, let me prioritize mindset, you actually make better decisions, right? Because you're like, okay, this will support the team, this will take me away from my first job, let me actually see if I can get a friend to assist, can I delegate this to someone? You just make better decisions, and it also supports your growth as a consultant, especially when you start getting into that management role. work, right? So prioritizing, you make better decisions, as well as you maintain your high performance, and you keep delivering on high impact. In some cases, you won't be able to prioritize, or it'll be very difficult to prioritize because a lot of things will be due at the same time and there'll be a lot of pressure, right? The best thing you can do in that phase is manage upwards, right? Speak to your team lead, speak to your manager to be like, listen, these are the competing interests that I have. Can we sort of like flex these dates? Or if the dates cannot be flexed, then it's important for you to have set this 1 or 2 weeks earlier, right? Not when the deadline is at the door. So that's the thing about prioritizing. It gives you like a long-term planning view to be like, okay, what do I need to do today? What do I need to do next week? What's due the following week? And. Right. Recently, I've been on a couple of projects as well as doing business development work. And at some point, the client work was like priority, but for me, the business development was what I wanted to prioritize because it would mean more new work for the team and a new client, right? So I had to manage that, deliver out the client, visit the client, do what I needed to do, and when I got home, devoted that energy to what I thought was more important, right? In that scenario, I couldn't really prioritize. I prioritized during the day, right? But I also still had to give the other projects attention at night. And it was one of the more intense weeks. But yeah, gave the proposal to the clients and we're waiting feedback from them. So the rewards will be good, hopefully. Last but not least, step number 5, learn how and when to say no. Right now, this is a testy and tricky skill to master, and so you have to do it right. Not doing it right means you lose out on future work opportunities, or you could lose out on a relationship, be it with your manager, your associate, or even your partner, right? So getting this skill right is absolutely crucial. The best way I've found to do this is to basically tell your team lead, tell your managers about your career aspirations, what you like to do, the type of work you like to be involved in. Letting them know will also trigger in them that, okay, Emmanuel wants to do this. Is this project right for him? Emmanuel wants to do this, but this project doesn't match. So how do we do that? How do we frame? How do we sort of like balance what Emmanuel wants with what the team needs to deliver, right? And because they know that, they'll make those decisions, right? Sometimes you have to make the decisions to be like, Donnie, Retief, you're putting me on this project. It's in line with my impact. It's in line with my career goals, so I'm happy. Or you can be like, it's not in line with my career goals and this is why it's not, and is it possible to make a plan, right? Sometimes it won't be possible to make a plan, and you just have to come to terms with, this is the impact of getting on this project, and afterwards, how do they get you back on track in terms of like your career, right? Sometimes that's the only conversation to have, but just letting the people around you know is very good. Taking it one step further, you can delegate to your colleagues, and you can delegate and collaborate with other people in the business, right? What this does is it tests your management skills, test your delegation skills, as well as your prioritization skills, because it's like, okay, cool, I need to do this, don't really want to do it, let me see if someone else can do it, which frees you up to do what you want to do, right? So this one is more situational than strategic, but it's about realizing when the opportunity is there to do it. Okay, let's recap on the 5 steps to help you become a thriving consultant. Step number 1, decide what type of consultant you want to be, whether that's technical, a management consultant, or a jack of all trades. Step number 2, practice a learning and growth mindset, right? Learn to experiment, push yourself out of your comfort zone, be creative, learn new things, get inspiration from new sources, right? Step number 3, keep building your strengths. Ask your colleagues to support on building your development. This increases your collaboration as well as allows you to maintain your impact. Step number 4, Learn to prioritize, keeping in mind what you can and what you can't control. When you know the difference, you understand where your impact and your energy needs to flow, and you keep your performance high. And last but not least, learn how and when to say no. Sometimes the projects you get on or the work you get on doesn't align with your career, and you have to put your hand up and say,
Any ideas?
no, this is not for me. Or yes, actually, I want to learn something new, so I'm happy to take this opportunity, right? Moving from the dark side of consulting to surviving consulting to thriving in consulting won't happen unless you are purposefully intentional. And it will take a lot of practice. The steps we've explored previously are a blueprint to help you navigate your state of being in consulting. Again, it's all about being intentional, being practical, and practicing how to be a thriving consultant. To support your growth as a consultant, check out season 1 of the Consulting Diaries, where we talked about the foundations of being a consultant. If you want something more relevant, check out how to be a world-class consultant, because we started from the dark side, we moved to surviving, we've thrived, and now we need to be world-class. Stay in championship mode. We are still out here in the office. It's 4:30, almost 4:30. I have a meeting. Once I finish that meeting, I'll be able to get home. So a bit of a longish day, but I hope the content was good. Hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, let me go thrive.